Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I will be breaking down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Indianapolis Colts Week 12 game. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 300 subscribers by the end of December. We would love if you could help us out by doing that if you are not already subscribed. Like this video, comment on this video, and let us know what your thoughts are on the game. And Ryan, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
This was a heck of a game, and I know our father's Colts fans. We have family that are Colts fans. I was rooting for the Colts. I think that they are a very strong team. I think they're one of the teams that could be a sleeper on potentially making a wild card push just because of how dominant
It'll be
their
tough
run
now,
game
but
is. It'll be tough now. We think there's some opportunities, and we'll break that down at the second half of this video. But let's talk about the game a little bit. The Colts were up 24-14 going into halftime. And just consistent mistakes, not taking care of the ball. And when the Buccaneers are a Super Bowl champs for a reason, they took advantage of those opportunities. If I'm not mistaken, I think every time they turned the ball over in the second half, Tampa Bay scored. I think they had 17 points off turnovers in the second half, and that really was the kind of the whole change in the game. What was your overall take on how the Colts played, and what are some of the
well,
positives they can take from it moving forward?
the first half really couldn't have gone better for
Mm-hmm.
for the Colts. They played well. They forced an interception, forced a fumble, and they capitalized, like you said, going into the half 24-14. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think they just kind of got conservative, um, where uh, they were taking shots down the field. Carson Wentz had two big touchdown passes in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of stopped doing that. They kind of let that defense press up, get close to line of scrimmage, and stop the run. And then, like you said, they made a couple crucial mistakes, and Tampa Bay capitalized on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that
it really
definitely
just seemed
was.
like a missed opportunity for Indianapolis.
Yeah, and that definitely was going. That was the big thing coming into the game that everyone was watching is this Tampa Bay run defense,
Hmm.
which is one of the best in the league, and Jonathan Taylor and this running offense, which is now one of the best in the league. And it didn't really
Yeah,
show up until they honestly needed it in the fourth quarter, their drive to tie the game up, make it 31 all. Jonathan Taylor and the Colts offense just ran the ball. It seemed like almost every play. Actually, I think I saw
yeah,
one of the graphics. It was 8 runs that took up 65 yards. I think 2 passes that were like 15 yards total on that entire drive.
yeah,
They just moved that Buccaneers defense down the field. That was the only real time that it was very effective. I think Jonathan Taylor was only at 83 yards on the day. He had a good
yeah.
receiving day as well. But the biggest thing for me though
Mhm.
is was just the mistakes that Indianapolis made in the second half, especially on their first 4 drives. On their first 4 drives, they fumbled the ball. It was either in the red zone or near the red zone as they were moving the ball to start the second half. Tampa Bay, 65 yards down the field, scored a touchdown. Next drive, someone moving the ball. Carson Wentz throws up a prayer to Michael Pittman. And in his defense, it was Michael Pittman against the Tampa Bay safety. I forget the name of the guy that picked it off. But Michael Pittman lost that. Tampa Bay.
Antoine
And
Winfield
yep,
Jr.
Woodfield ended up intercepting it. Tampa Bay went down the field, uh, scored a touchdown. Now it's 14 points.
Yeah,
Then a 3 and out. Then they finally stopped Tampa Bay while they're down 28-24. And then Naheem Hines muffs the punt and
yeah,
luckily only hold Tampa Bay to a field goal. But by then it's 31-24. They needed Jonathan Taylor to go and score that touchdown. And then Tampa Bay just did what Tampa Bay was doing the entire second half, just going down the field, scoring touchdowns or putting points up on the board, something that the Colts
yeah,
just couldn't stop. But
yeah, yeah.
but yeah. But this is me though, and I know this is an unfortunate loss for them, but kind of moving to where this leads to Indianapolis now is they're still they just took the Super Bowl champs to the ringer and they made mistakes. Like if they played a perfect game, they would have won. Just
Yeah.
like how they would have destroyed not
Well,
just like how they destroyed Buffalo.
Tampa made mistakes too in the first half, which did help the Colts
Mm,
get up.
That's
Um,
fair.
so that that when both teams make mistakes, I feel like that point is a little bit muted, just because like
Well,
the Indianapolis made one more turnover uh than the Buccaneers did. They had 3 turnovers, I think, 2 interceptions and that fumble, muff
No,
punt.
Tom Brady only had 1 interception. Oh, you're talking
Yeah,
about
but they had
Carson
a
Wentz.
fumble. Yeah. They also had a fumble as well. Tampa
Well,
Bay
yeah,
did.
fumble and the muff punt. Yeah. So,
But Tampa Bay had 2 turnovers. They had a fumble
oh,
and
okay.
then Tom Brady's interception. Yeah. And
Oh, okay.
the Colts had 2 interceptions and then the muff punt.
Okay. Okay. All right. I thought they only had
Yeah,
1
yeah.
fumble. I thought Chris Godwin only had 1 fumble,
I
and that was
understand.
it.
I
Oh
understand
no,
that.
I know.
Carson Wentz
I'm just
had 2
trying to get.
interceptions.
I'm trying to get
Carson
the
Wentz
stats
had 2
right.
interceptions, and then there's the muff punt. That's 3. And then on the Buck
Hmm.
side, Brady had 1 interception, and then there was 1 fumble by Chris Godwin, right? So 3 minus 2 is 1. So
Okay. No,
the Colts made one
I
more mistake.
no. I think the Colts had 4 turnovers.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. The Colts had 4 turnovers.
Okay, well then they made 2 more
Okay, yeah,
mistakes.
and one of the interceptions was like the last play of the game, so that one
Yeah.
was irrelevant. But I think though the way the turnovers happened, it seemed like the Buccaneers capitalized when the moments mattered. But
Mm,
so let's talk about Tampa Bay for a little bit because this to me solidifies not that it was ever in
yeah.
question, but Tampa Bay was going to win. Is now, I think, a lock to win the NFC South. Not that it was ever in question, but they're 3 games up on the Falcons and the Saints. They're playing the Falcons next week. No reason why they shouldn't win that game. They
Yeah.
destroyed Atlanta early in the year. It was a closer game than the score was, but they put up 48 points, I think, with 2 pick sixes against them. So
Yeah.
they are going to get a home game for sure. Now it's just going to depend on where they end up between Green Bay
Are they
and
going to get 1 or
Arizona,
2? Yeah.
1, 2, or
And
3 potentially.
well, yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
But if they end up getting the 1 seed, then they'll only have 2 because they'll have a bye.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
So, well, granted, I guess they could have the 2 seed be the home playoff team. But uh, with that being said, I think Tampa Bay is now just a mad dash for the end.
Hmm.
They do still have the luxury of playing Green Bay, so they could get a head-to-head victory.
Yeah.
Um, and other than that, I think the rest of their season is actually pretty.
Oh wait.
I guess average. I guess they end on a really easy stretch playing the Saints, Panthers, Jets, Panthers. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean I think that they're gonna easily win 3 out of the 4 of those games. I think
Uh, if not all of them, honestly, their loss against
yeah
the Saints, I think, was kind of fluky because of. I think they weren't playing well, and the Saints I think just had a good game plan. Then with Jameis Winston getting hurt, I think it kind of threw off the Buccaneers' plan. But yeah, there's no reason
yeah
why they shouldn't win at least 4 of the next 6 games. They're also playing Buffalo.
yeah
I mean that's the one that's in question, but they could easily beat Buffalo. So now it's just kind of a
yeah
matter of where Tampa Bay finished it up. But the real interesting part, the reason why we're talking about this game, is what this does with Indianapolis right now. They're 6-6. They only have 5 games left, while a lot of the other teams that are also in the wild card hunt have 6 games left, which is just an extra game for them to get a win up over the Colts. Um, one of the one of the nice things though for Indianapolis is they do play Houston and Jacksonville, and they also do play the Raiders as well. I think they can win
yeah.
those 3 games. That would put them at 9-8. But they're going to have to try and somehow squeeze out a win against either New England or the Arizona Cardinals.
And I think
2
they
of
definitely
which
can beat New England.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know you're the Patriots fan, but I mean, as the outsider, that the Patriots team seem like they just don't make mistakes, and your guys' strength is going to be, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be your guys' defense. Colts are limited on the passing side; they don't have too many weapons outside of Michael Pittman, and you guys have a good run defense as well. So
Well, okay, so
I
you
think
say
that's
that,
going to
but
be
we gave
tough.
up 278 yards today to the Tennessee Titans without Derrick Henry, without AJ Brown, without Julio Jones. So, and the Colts have a much better run game than the Tennessee Titans do,
Hmm.
especially right now, where I mean,
But they have
Deontay,
278 rushing yards or passing yards.
yeah, rushing yards. They
Really?
had two
Oh,
100-yard rushers, Deontay Foreman, and then some guy I've never even heard of.
oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
so
What?
th- th- The Colts could definitely put up a fight in that game. The interesting thing to me is they pretty much have to win out. They get one screw up, uh, and then that's pretty much their season.
Yeah.
Because mainly, if you look at kind of where they rank, they do have a good AFC record, but their division record is only 2-2. So
Hmm.
that can come into play as maybe a tiebreaker. Um, and a lot of the other teams, so like Los Angeles is 4-3 in the AFC, Buffalo is 5-4 in the AFC, and Cincinnati's 5-2 in the AFC.
Hmm.
So, granted, Indianapolis has the head-to-head win. It just creates a lot more possibilities
Yeah.
uh, if they do try to win out. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and one of the advantages I will say for the Colts is, well, they have to play Houston and Jacksonville. Those are their two division games left.
mhm.
But all the other teams that are in front of them that are in the wild card spot, they have a lot of division games left. So potentially, those teams could either split or lose both of those divisional games to their teams, which will then just take them out of the
Mhm.
potentially winning the playoff running, or they'll just keep beating each other, which could then the Colts the opportunity to leapfrog
Yeah. Mhm.
them. So that's where I'm just trying to look on the positive side. I think the Bills are a lock. They haven't been playing spectacular football, but I still think that they just out of all the other teams, I think are better and I think relatively have an easier schedule. I think they still have to play a lot of the NFC South teams, and
Yeah.
well, actually, yeah, they have to play the Falcons and the Panthers. Those should be 2 wins for them. That puts the Bills at 9 wins, and they'll find
They
another
also
win somewhere else.
they also do have to play Tampa Bay. They play Tampa Bay next week,
Yeah,
actually, I think.
and the Patriots twice. So let's say the Bills split. That puts them at 10 wins, potentially even beating
Yeah.
Tampa Bay as well. So
Yeah.
uh, when how this relates to the Colts is, I think they're fighting for that seventh spot, just like how they did last year. Because I think a team from the AFC North, where the Bengals are at now, I think they've kind of gone through their woes. I think that they will continue to keep going. I think they're in. They're going to have to hope that these AFC West teams, the Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, they all start beating each other because they all have a couple more
Yeah.
games just amongst each other, and then they still also have to play the Chiefs as well. So hopefully, the Colts' big hope, I think now, actually now that I say it, doesn't sound as good for them.
No,
But
yeah.
that they start beating each other, and the Colts can leapfrog them because Colts have a schedule they could do it. They might have to pull an upset or two, but it's going to be tougher now, especially after this win with all these mistakes, loss with all
Yeah,
these
no.
because of all
I
these mistakes.
but again, so like they pretty much have to win out. I think they
Mhm.
get one screw up, uh, but I think in reality, like if they want to guarantee themselves a playoff spot, they have to win out.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
to me, that's the way I see it. This opportunity was blown today, and it puts them in a really tough spot. But
Mhm.
the AFC is really competitive. It's still definitely possible for them to make it. It's just unlikely.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't really have too much else to add. Um,
No, none here
so
either.
yeah, but I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you thought of the Colts game this week. And let us know if you think they're going to make the playoffs. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.